Alright, quick recap. We're gonna go through, had this crazy action like we talked about. Had the Fed rally, fade, or spike, dip. We grinded, put in this nice activity yesterday. This is a 3-day chart. Rallied into the close here, 1 p.m. into 4. And now after hours, we're slightly holding this gap up here. Looking good on the daily now. Getting to a point where it's gonna get to this judgment zone here. Kind of in this box zone. So the next key zones here would be, for me, so this is a bit of a tricky one because we're still in this. When we bring this in to a 14-day, we're still in this box here between 500 and 510. So I'd like to see where we choose, which direction we choose, or we start consolidating under or above. Right now we're kind of still in that yo-yo phase. So we're watching the SPY here for which zone it starts to build beneath or above for that next big move, whether it's up or down. Couple names quickly. The RBLX, it's really starting to look good in here, similar to the SPY actually. This action here, this RBLX is putting in a similar look here. I really like the way this is starting to shape up. Been talking about this for a while. Moving averages are looking great. If you remember the ZIM trade, I talked about kind of these squeezers. Well, RBLX is starting to get into the squeezer neighborhood, so I like RBLX. Actually, I was looking at this yesterday, this Rumble. We talked about this probably 2 weeks ago, but big picture, monthly 5-year, this is starting to really kind of hold this level. Big volume in here, January 1st. Also, we kind of have the Trump headwinds of the Trump social media name. Now, we talked about this as well. I never ended up trading this. It's a bit choppy, but it's a bit choppy when you zoom in intraday. But big picture, this could pull Rumble up with it. They're kind of in the same basket. So I really like Rumble. And again, another squeezer, daily chart squeezer. The only thing about Rumble is there hasn't been, I typically like a big green volume day to then kind of work my way in. With this, it's quite a ways back. So these slow, low volume plays that start to form up like this, where you have let's look at this real quick. You have RBLX, which is a little bit more volatile. Now, it didn't have huge volume, but it did have a spike in volume here. And you can see these candles are a bit more, they're just bigger candles, more volatile. Rumble's no spike in volume really, and more tighter. So higher risk, because we haven't had any indications of any interest flowing in, but big potential here. What this could probably do is spike through, maybe pull back, and then that pullback is the green light. Similar to ZIM, where it shot through, pulled back, held, then went, and then again another one where we kind of had the volume indicating for us. So that's the only red flag on Rumble, but I like what I'm seeing here. I talked about SMMT, very nice big picture chart. I've actually started scaling into this for a long, and I am looking at these for a swing. That is, this is what I would call a B grade, and I'm looking to risk off of these. I like this 426 425 level. We're below that, so I like this 393 and 425. So 393, 425. We bring it in here. 393 is probably in this area. 425 is right around this area. So I'm working in this box here. Here's that original gap. We've now filled the gap, which is good to see for now proceeding for the long. And pretty ugly action here, but if this can start to gather itself, consolidate, I could see this quietly recovering and then blowing through. This is what I would call a through trade, because we're going through these blue skies. So I like SMMT. Ugly day yesterday. Not great volume at all. Actually, not good volume at all, but this in here, I can't, this 524 million, this is just, so much, that's such a massive amount of volume. I have to keep an eye on that. Similar to Rumble, where I had the big volume back a while ago as a tip for us to keep our eyes on it. So SMMT still on the front page for us. I was looking at this Piton just for a intraday short, because yesterday it had news about CEO stepping down and laying off people. Had this crazy move down. This is something I always just look at for a day trade short, but it ends up I just go for a ride, because I feel like any pop on this name you can short. But so disregard that. That's just junk. Krispy Kreme. Been talking about Krispy Kreme. It's actually starting to catch a bid. We have been talking about, this could be another really good one, just like Zim, under the moving averages, blow through, hold, continue. This is taking on the same shape. We could go blow through, hold, then run up to these 14 levels. This level, I've been talking about this a lot. This in where was it? So we had the 1280, which is dead bottom 1280. So I'm really, and I talked about the 1280 zone, but I also said, because it's so obvious, they may kind of blow through it just a touch to spook everyone and then grind. So if we look at 1280, we have 1280 in here, which we had the gap down. It tried to hold 1280, faded, consolidated under 1280, put in this nice little activity yesterday, and now we're right under 1280. So I would say now our key zones are obvious. Well, I think our key zones are going to now be in between this 1280 and this low. So you get a 40-cent range, which is a nice risk reward versus this potential curl and go up until the 1380 14 zone, 1320 1380, and then conservatively the bottom of this activity is 1440. So I like DNUT, and go through a couple other ones I'd mentioned. This QBTS, still nothing really going on. These, I had highlighted these two. This RGTI looks better than this QBTS. Very similar big pictures here, like I had said the other night, which is interesting because QBTS actually looks better on the bigger picture name here. But then when you bring it into the daily, if we kind of overlap these, you can see this is the RGTI on the bottom, QBTS on the top. The RGTI actually has put in a nice bottom and is starting to actually ascend up a bit. So of the two, RGTI actually looks better. Now the question is, what are these big picture NVIDIA names gonna do if this gets going? This AI kind of sector, we could see some action out of this. So RGTI, QBTS. What else did I want to kind of poke through real quick? Upwork. I saw Upwork had some really good action. Big volume, which we love to see. This could be shaping up. Things are looking kind of exciting here because you have the SPY. If the SPY, like I said, if the SPY can blow through this consolidation and just go back to everything goes up forever mode, we got some names. We got some names setting up here. So, like I say, gotta stay ready. Alt M, been talking about this one, coming around. This, I like this name. Tesla. I mean, this Tesla's starting to look good. Maybe it keeps going. Tricky one there. EV names are getting some action. So even solar, I've been looking at this Sunrun solar, because if you look at this FSLR, what is it? FSLR. We're way up there. We're looking really strong. So if this FSLR can continue, I'm starting to look at this run for a move. Had the big volume in here. I think this might have been earnings, and now we're setting up in here. This kind of has the same. This has the same kind of look. This action in here on the daily, same kind of look as these EV names. So that's kind of all tied together. So we gotta keep an eye on that whole sector. So I think that's all I'm gonna throw out there today. Just a quick one. Let's stay ready. Let's make money.